Here are some examples of the beads that I'm going to make in this video today. This one right here is the bead from the video. I have taken these out of the kiln, let them cool down and cleaned them up, and here they are. So this is it. This is the one that we're going to make. This bead can be made in a lot of different colors. I'm just going to show you what I'm using. For my base coat, I'm using this dark teal. Probably looks really dark in the monitor, but it's actual teal. I'm not sure if it's a dark teal or regular teal. It's fairly dark, so it must be dark teal. I don't have the label on here anymore. I'm using regular turquoise, and I've got some Lauscha brand clear. It's about the only clear I use. As far as prep work, I also have gold adventurine. Comes in a little bag, and just got it spread out on the marver. Only prep work I'm going to need to do is make a reduce the size of my clear. I'm going to use that to plunge and twist, and the way I do it is I plunge, twist, and then I crack it off. I'll show you that in a minute. It's kind of hard to do with a full-sized rod, and I want my swirls to be kind of tight, so I'm going to reduce the size. Just going to pull myself out a little stringer. Fortunately, this doesn't take much. That should be plenty. I'll just set that aside. I'll be using this clear later. Got a mandrel with bead release on it already. Let's go ahead and start. Preheating my rod. Preheating my mandrel. I'm going to preheat my glass rod. Since this is going to be a cylinder, I don't want to put down too much glass. I want a thin cylinder, not a big fat cylinder. I'm just going to wrap this on real tight. Okay. Even it out a little bit on the end. I have a graphite marver here that I'm going to use off and on throughout this process. Usually I don't pick up the graphite marver, but I want to keep it in the frame of the picture, so I'm picking it up. Now I'm just heating this so it's nice and soft and sticky. I want to pick up the gold adventurine as I roll it on the marver. go. I think the adventurine's kind of fragile, so I'm just going to melt it in a little bit delicately. I don't want to overheat it. I want to maintain that bling, that sparkle. There we go. Now I'm going to take my clear. Gotta use this one. The same way I've done. Same way I wrapped on the tiger stripe bead. I want to keep the base glass solid, and just heat up the clear and wrap it on. I really don't want to smear the gold aventurine. I just want to encase it. Almost all of my heat is going into the clear. And I'm slightly overlapping the clear coat that I've already put down. And if you can tell, I'm moving the bead underneath. I'm not moving the clear. The clear is staying stationary in the flame. And I'm just moving the bead underneath it. I'm going to melt this in, take a look at it, and marver it out a little bit before I go on to the next step. Okay. Nice cylinder. Let that cool a little bit. Bring it up. It's a little dark because it's so hot. Okay, now I'm going to add the teal, the turquoise. Always preheat your rod. Okay. Okay, capped one end. I'm going to go cap the other end. I'm going to shape it a little bit. I'll go back and do the final shaping later. But I need to keep everything nice and even. Whenever I'm working on I guess anything but a regular donut shaped bead, I only work on one end at a time. I don't want to get the whole bead hot. It's hard to keep track of both ends. So I kind of play my marver off of the center of the bead where it's solid. And I just heat up the end. It always gives me a solid surface to push against, and then a soft surface to move around. Okay, now I'm going to add little swirls here along the border area between the turquoise and the clear that I put on. And I'm going to try and do that without disturbing the sparkle underneath. So I've got my clear rod, and I've turned down my flame so it's a nice pinpoint flame. I need to keep the whole bead hot, so I'm going to reheat often. I don't want the bead to move around on me, so I'm not going to overheat it. I'm not going to heat it to the point where it goes soft again. But I'm just going to pick a spot that I want to start, and I heat that region. Now that part has gone soft, it's gone liquid, and I just reach in with the clear and I twist. There we go, hopefully you can see that. I'm creating kind of a wave. Okay. There we go, how's that? And now I want to move this, oops, it came right off. I want to move it back and forth in along the parallel to the mandrel. If I do it in this direction, it'll twist it off of the mandrel, and I will basically lose the bead. So I add my swirl, only going about 3/4 of a revolution, just enough to pull that up, and then again I'm going along the same direction as the mandrel, cracking that right off. And it's got some texture to it, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll go back and fix that later. There we go. Crack that one off. And last one. Do that one right here. There we go. That comes right off. I want to keep a neutral flame, but I'm going to add a little more heat. Reheat my whole bead. If I've done this right, the center of my bead should still be a nice cylinder, and it's only the ends that are bumpy. I'm going to try and use that to my advantage when shaping this. Just going to work on one end. Have my elbow down because I'm working on the right side, and then I'm going to roll it. Do this a couple of times. There we go, nice and smooth. I'm going to work on the other end. Now I have my elbow up. I want gravity to work with me, not against me. And again, I'm just trying to get this end hot, but not the center of the bead. Excellent. I've got a little bit of surface texture, so I'm going to go along, and I'm just going to flame polish it.